Really?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I am with Liz Trotter. This is Smart Business Moves. Our top secret guest today for On the Spot, for those of you who didn't figure it out, which I don't know if there were many who didn't, is Kurt Kempton. Hey, Kurt.
Ooh, hey! Wow. Kurt, that's pretty tricky. Hey, I'm even making it look okay.
Yeah, you got it. Even I can do it, so I knew you would.
That was before your time. That was like in the 70s.
Oh, trust me. If it's weird, I'm a big fan.
You go back to the archives for weird, huh?
Regardless of age, yeah, I can find anything that's weird.
All right, so this is so sad. This just happened last night. I was saying the same thing. I love weird things. I love weird people that have weird things. And Tim's like, yeah, I know you do. A couple minutes later, he's like, what's wrong with me? I was like, it's your eyes, honey. He's like,
wait a minute. Well, yeah, what are you trying to tell me?
Poor guy.
My goodness.
I love to give him grief.
So Kurt follows that thought up by, and I really like you guys.
Yeah, and you guys are great.
All right, so Kurt, do you remember how to see the comments on the right-hand side of your screen?
Oh.
There's a tab where it says private chat right next to it.
Yep, I got it. I opened it up.
All right, we don't have anything yet on there, and I know that as soon as Marlo gets here and Leslie, all the, Denise, all the regulars, they always chime in, say, hi, here we come.
So this is On the Spot, so now's your opportunity to get your questions in, because we were kind of contemplating, as some of you know, hey, Marlo.
Marlo!
Told you, she's always like Johnny on the spot right there.
We've been talking for the last few weeks of maybe taking a break from On the Spot because getting questions was kind of hard. Last Thursday, they hit us with a fire hose, and we got a ton of questions. It was a lot of fun, but so we said, okay, we'll do it one more week. And plus, we'd already, talked to you a couple of months ago about doing it. So given our past history with all that, we wanted to make sure that we did at least one more week. So we just need to wait and see how the questions come in. So we'll talk for a minute. You guys go ahead and drop your questions in, and we'll get going here in a minute.
And I'm looking for my other questions that I had been given that we never even got to last week. I might have sent them by email, Tom. I'll look them up that way while you go through the schedule. Awesome.
Well, this is our schedule for next week. Chris Schwab's going to be back, and he's going to be with us Monday, and he's going to talk about winning with remote operations. It's going to be more of a structured format. He's going to have a presentation for us, kind of walking us through the training program that he does with his supervisor, since he lives in England and runs a cleaning business in Washington, D.C. It takes systems and processes, and everybody needs to know their role and needs to know SOP, and he's going to give us his best secrets on how he makes that happen. Tuesday, Perry Tate's going to be with us. Perry, I guess, is becoming a regular on our show. He's quite entertaining. He lives in China. He basically owns a company that manufactures window cleaning supplies. Kurt, you're from the window cleaning world. Do you know Perry?
I know Perry very well. Very well.
Do you love him too?
I love him.
Yeah, if you like weird, you must love Perry.
He's so awesome, right?
Yeah.
And a font of knowledge. I mean, he's awesome. I'm like,
and he's very articulate. He can explain ideas, I think, really well. Like a lot of people have good ideas, but it's hard to translate them. Perry's one of those minds where he has really crazy, weird ideas, but he can articulate them. I love that.
Mm-hmm. And he can simplify them. That's exactly what I said last night. That's also one of your strengths, Kurt. This is one of the things I really love about you too, is that you can take a complex idea and make it very easy to comprehend. It seems very simple.
Using analogies, being able to take a concept and tying it back into something that you can relate to in an analogy standpoint. I love that.
Yeah, I'm pretty simple-minded. I'm picking up what you're putting down, and yeah.
Simple and weird. That's the way we roll here.
All right, y'all. We need questions.
So Marlo, Hilda, Mark.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the questions to come in.
What webinar are you enrolled in, Mark? Anybody know what? Oh, he's talking about the ARCSI webinar. I bet you. Right, Tom?
Okay.
Are you talking about the ARCSI webinar, Mark, maybe? That you're doing, Tom?
That's Tuesday.
That's why I'm thinking maybe that's what he's talking about.
If I'm doing something tomorrow, somebody needs to fill me in.
Oh, did I say tomorrow? I'm sorry. Yeah, he didn't say tomorrow. I don't know why I'm saying tomorrow.
I think enrolled in Tom's webinar today.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be Tuesday.
Yeah, I think that's it. All right, so let me find these questions. Y'all got like 5 minutes. We're just going to yak with Kurt. Kurt, tell us what you've been up to lately. Tell us the coolest thing that you've been doing.
Week, Sharon Timber's going to be with us Wednesday. She's going to be telling us about training for our cleaning professionals. And depending on how you guys do today, we may or may not be doing on the spot next Thursday. So that's penciled in at the moment.
Did you just call Sharon Timberg?
I did.
What? Most people call other people by their first names. Or
I said Sharon Timberg.
Okay, all I heard was, and Timberg is doing
first and last name. Come on,
right, Stuart. I appreciate Stuart's approach to this. This is working really good. Get it, Trotter.
Hey, Kempton, what'd you say?
Yeah.
Kurt, what's going on in your world?
Well, my world's kind of upside down right now. We lived in our last house for 14 years, and one of the dreams I'd always had is to live on a piece of land. You know, I wanted to have a little more space than like the neighborhood where you can like see your next door neighbor. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I just moved, and after 14 years, turns out with 4 kids and 14 years in a house, we had a lot of stuff. So I've been unpacking and trying to get my office is completely torn apart. In fact, I'll just give you a quick view. This is not, I'm a neat freak, and you can see clearly this is not neat. This is,
well, that's not bad, especially under the circumstances.
That's what I'm thinking.
How long have you been in the new house?
We got in, I guess, a week ago, but I'm putting in all this wainscoting. I don't know if you can see it. All the outlets are out and everything, but okay. I'm building this wainscoting, and I'm not going to prioritize finalizing everything until I've painted everything. So hopefully by this weekend, I'm ready for paint.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
You know,
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Heather Canning was on our show the last couple of weeks, and she had moved like 3 days before being on our show.
Oh, wow.
And she did the entire show from inside a closet. And I guess it was because people were still moving stuff through the rest of the house, and the kids and the dog and everything else. It was crazy. So it could be worse, Kurt. I guess that's all I can say. It could be worse.
It could be worse. It could be worse.
I have to remind you guys that Heather also did a show with us a few months back when she had COVID, and she did it from her bed. Did y'all forget that?
That is true. That is true.
She did it from bed with COVID completely. She was quarantining in her bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Is she doing okay now? Like what? I mean, was she doing okay then?
She's much better. She's much better.
Yeah,
I do have somebody in my MMA group though that has it. Anybody just want to send some random prayers? I would love it. We have somebody in our MMA group that's fairly sick right now. Okay. I should have told you that too, Tom. I'm sorry. I will fill you in.
Okay. No worries. I hope that turns out with a great outcome.
You know, it's scary. It's like all fun and games until you actually know somebody that's sick, or you start thinking about it in real terms again, right? It's like, it's easy to just kind of, I don't want to say blow it off, but just not think really about it.
Yeah, my sister's mother-in-law, so my sister married a guy, and it's her parents, or his parents. They both got COVID, the father-in-law and mother-in-law. Mm-hmm. The father-in-law lived, but the mother-in-law passed away. And what's really crazy about it, it was a terrible loss. But what's really crazy about it, and I mean, I guess it's all shocking and everything, but he was the one that had health problems, not her. she was a very healthy person. Now they're more elderly, in their 70s. I wouldn't call them old. I would call them elderly. But she was actually the spry spunk. She'd come to a few family functions. I got to know her a bit, and she's always funny, cracking jokes from Billings, Montana. Just real, boo, And he's kind of more serious, but he's always kind of had underlying health issues. Well, he lived and she didn't.
Crazy, right? That is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, there's those stories are starting to accumulate, unfortunately, and I guess by a lot of projections, they're going to accumulate more rapidly over the next couple of months, maybe than what they've even had today. My 19-year-old daughter has a good friend, and we kind of grew up and with her parents knew them, and they both went to a party on 4th of July, and they both contracted COVID. He was a plastic surgeon. He passed away from COVID. Spent a lot of time volunteering, going over to the Middle East, doing plastic surgery for people that are in the military that gets hurt. She is out of the hospital, but is still on oxygen, and this is November, and she contracted it in July. So even if you survive, there's a number of people out there that have long-term issues that they're dealing with.
Well, maybe I'll take this opportunity just to share something. I don't want to hijack the whole thing, but I do have kind of a new announcement from my side.
Please.
So we hold a sales conference for the service industry called ResponsiCon. It started out as a user conference for our software, but it's now kind of transcended that. Anyway, we had a 200-seat conference all set up to happen in last week of January, and last weekend, and talked to the hotel, and the hotel said, "Hey, we can't have 200. I know that's an exclusive event for you guys, but we got to cut it down to 100." Which means that we only have 10 seats left now, because normally everyone buys all their tickets that last month anyway, and this is a crazy year anyway. But it's more than a conference. It's a workshop. It's something you can't really hold online. It's like you're sitting around a table, writing copy, going up and recording videos for your website, recording videos that will be part of your proposals. It's a whole very interactive thing. Anyway, I met with the hotel, and I was like, we need to figure out what our safety measures are going to be. We're getting close down to the wire. What information do we have from the CDC and all this stuff? And part of the bad news was we got to cut it down, and we're sold out. We have a few seats left, but we're basically sold out just like that. Well, that really stunk. But the other rules are, if you're not in your room, you have to wear a mask. And if you're obviously we serve all the food and everything there. The food's going to be served. It won't be buffet style anymore. It'll be something a little bit different. And there'll be some changes for sure. The way people sit is going to be different. The way our hacking rooms and workshops are going to change. The way the networking happens, and we have these play games that we do at each night. Like we have a milkshake bar and a bunch of stuff. Anyway, all that stuff's going to have to be modified. So to have less people, it was already a nonprofit event. So now for us to do what we're going to do, it's going to be a lot more effort, a lot less. But I know that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to say, I'm not coming if I have to wear a mask. And I think what I would say to those people, and for anyone who is already having a ticket and saying, I'm going to reconsider, I think that, masks have weirdly become politicized. Like, if you wear a mask, the government's trying to control you, or maybe there's another conspiracy theory or something. But the fact is if you don't feel comfortable wearing a mask, the hotel, you can't be at this event. But I think it kind of goes beyond that. Like, however you feel about a mask or however you feel about social distancing, the fact is that there's people in that room that you don't know, and they may be taking care of an elderly parent. They may have a newborn baby at home. They may have, whatever it may be. But everyone's got a life. Everyone's got a real situation. And really, a lot of this has to do with nothing to do with you. Pretty much everybody who's going to be at the conference is going to be a healthy, active person. Yeah. But they don't necessarily surround themselves with healthy, active people. And it's one of those times when I'm going to have to say, if you need a refund, let us know, but you can't come to this conference,
Yeah.
It's tough. I just want them to go back to normal,
Yeah. Yeah. I do think though, Kurt, I'm sorry that you have to cut it in half. I hope you will be able to get the same outcomes, because I mean, I have never heard such glowing
Yeah.
praise about an event than ResponsiCon. And those hacking sessions, people go on and on and on about those hacking sessions. So I'm glad that you're not letting those go, and you're figuring out a way to make them happen. I know that a lot of people are really nervous and everything. I don't blame them. It's smart, like we were just talking about, right? Definitely get it. If you're going to do it, go all in and do it as safely as possible. That's what we've been telling everybody. If you're going to do it, commit to it and do it as much as
Oh,
the best
there it
you
is.
can. Yeah.
That's the
Oh, yeah.
conference. Yeah.
So people should continue to register, even though you only have a small amount of spaces left, just because some people might not be comfortable wearing a mask the whole time and might turn in their thing. Okay, so everybody, if you haven't gone to ResponsiCon, then, and you are even considering it, do it now. You heard very few. And you guys know Kurt, he's not I'm telling you that I've only got 10 seats, but I've really got 110. If he's saying he's got 10 seats, he's got 10 seats. So get in there.
You can see there it started out as a 300 person event, and then it went down to 200, and now we're down to 100.
100. Well, buy your tickets before he cuts it in half to 50.
No, I did ask the hotel. I said, if we go down another seat, we're going to just have to cancel the conference and refund everybody their money.
How far? Go ahead, Kurt.
I was at this point, we're already going to be taking a pretty severe loss at 100 people, but we just think that given the last year that we've had, it's the right thing to do. And we've already put a lot of things in place that we're going to take the loss anyway, even if we cancel it. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of stick with it. But if we go down below 100, we're going to have to just, unfortunately, cancel the event and refund money, which we're fine with it. We're fine. We want to do the right thing. We want to be healthy and safe and everything else.
We understand we're in kind of the same boat with Foundations, right? Foundations is in March. And part of it is that people are kind of desperate to do something more, and they need to feel somewhat normal again. Part of it is that they need to not just be feeling held hostage by this. People are melting down. I mean, I know that everybody's seeing that in their environment as well. Hopefully after the election, I know that day is over.
Did they pick one of the people?
Not the last I had heard. I have two people in my office that are like on it, and I think that I would have heard if somebody had been called, if the race had been called. So I don't think so. I think I would have heard. So I know there's a lot. Go ahead, Tom.
I have an idea, Kurt. How far? I mean, you live in Phoenix, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How far is the hotel from your new house?
About 40 minutes.
Oh, Tom.
Can we look out your window?
Well, it's not a conference
for
situation.
Distancing, everybody bring a chair.
Yeah.
And you can hang out in the desert.
That really is beautiful, you got to say. And it's a lot of space there, Kurt. And very safe looking.
Yeah. That's a great idea, Tom. I'll put a pin in that one.
It'll be fine. Don't worry.
Put a pin in that, Kurt. Yeah. All right, you guys. So we have one question from Marlo. I have 4 questions here that I came up with from just going through my list here, Tom. Let's get Marlo's first, and let's get started. It's getting late already. We're chatting about COVID, we can lose the day right there.
Okay.
All right.
So first question, Marlo is brain dead, exclamation point. That's a statement, but she wants to know what we're doing about insomnia.
And I'm thinking that she's meaning not just insomnia, but, all the stress and tension, and people are just struggling right now. So, what are we doing? Maybe not even about ourselves, but about the people in our offices and the people that we're working with. Yeah. Am I right? Marlo? That's the kind of question she usually asks, is some sort of wide questions. So, all right, Tom, you're first up.
So-
And you guys, questions, I only have 4, so we will be done soon. And we will not be doing on the spot if you don't bring us questions.
So we take turns going first. So I'll go first on this one, and the next question, Kurt, you'll go first, and so forth. And
Okay.
it goes real fast. Bang. Well, as far as insomnia, I guess I'm one of those lucky people where going to sleep is not really a problem for me. I mean, I could take a nap right now if I chose to. I sleep on airplanes. I can, do all that. So that's not an issue. As far as just dealing with stress in general, I mean, honestly, what Liz and I are doing here right now, we started doing this back in the middle of March because when we didn't know how to deal with this unprecedented event. And this is a relief, and this is fun.
Yeah.
And, I hope some of you guys are having fun with it too, but this is a part of it. As far as castle keepers, we're doing a lot more stuff, remotely. We're spending more time, trying not to get on top of each other in an office. I mean, there's a lot of things that we're doing in the business, but we're having fun, and we're kind of keeping the wheels on, and just one day at a time.
Tom, we can't see the clock, the timer.
Oh,
You'll see he does this tricky stuff when it's his turn, Kurt.
So we're supposed to believe you got up 3 seconds early.
There you go, right?
3 seconds left.
All right.
So you over. And by the way, Kurt, you're the guest. If you need to go over, that's fine.
Oh,
But
yeah.
if Liz goes over, we just, we won't.
What? I don't ever go over. What? It's you that we got to watch out for.
No. You ready, Kurt?
I'm ready. So I also am lucky that I've never had to deal with insomnia directly. However, as a business owner, I've dealt with that stressful, like laying in bed, thinking about a lot of different stuff, and my mind's going a million miles a minute. What I have found is that the nights that I lay there and try to just keep churning it through my brain and trying to figure it out, that's when it's the worst. So if I get up and I get a pad of paper and a pencil and I'm writing everything that I'm thinking down and kind of organizing my thoughts and my ideas, and then if I'm still not tired after that because I'm so amped up, then I'll try to do wakeful things like maybe the dishes or mop a floor or something. The moment I start feeling like I'm yawning or anything like that, that's when I'll head back up to bed. And typically I've had good success with that.
Very good.
I never used to have any type of insomnia at all. I was kind of as soon as my butt hit the bed, before I even laid down, I just sort of passed out. But now sometimes I will find myself churning, thinking. So what I have taken to doing is I have earbuds that are wireless, and I will go to sleep listening to a book, and I'll just set my book on my phone, on my app, to turn off in 30 minutes. And I have not had a situation where I remember the book turning off. So I'm always asleep at least within 30 minutes. And I do listen to really good books, so it's not that I'm listening to boring stuff. That's what I do. I'm banking those 13 seconds right there.
You can
Banking them.
Banking them for the next one.
Yeah, banking them.
feel it. What on Wheel of Fortune, you can either have them on account or gift certificate, right?
It's after my time, Tom. After my time.
Okay. So Marla's got another question. So what do you do, or will you do, if the family member of an employee / technician gets COVID? Do you require them to quarantine or what?
Good question.
Yeah,
Does
You're
that
so
mean-
lucky you did first, Kurt.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, there's a couple things that I have heard, and since my technicians don't go into people's homes, I need to be held to task here if this isn't true. But the first thing is they have all these drive-through tests that can be done pretty quick now. Now ours typically are the ones in my area are 24 hours, but I've heard of like spit tests in Utah and stuff that are like 30 minutes or something crazy. So the first thing I would do is I'd make sure the technician gets a test, and then we'd be watching to make sure that technician doesn't show any symptoms. So of course, checking their fever each day and all of that stuff. But I think that they need to be quarantined until you have the results of that test. And as soon as they start showing symptoms like coughing or anything like that, they're now transmitting something, whether it's COVID or anything else. So any symptoms and then quarantine during the test is probably the way I would handle it.
Rita, Liz?
Yep. Yeah, I think that how Kurt's going to handle it is very similar to what we have done so far. And we've had this situation. So we don't have the rapid testing here yet. We do have free testing though. It takes 24 to 36 hours to get your results back. So what we've done is send them down for a test, watch for, and then quarantine until you get the results back, and then watch for, again, any kind of symptoms, fever test twice a day, and that's pretty much it. That's what we've been doing.
No. Pretty much the same thing for us. I mean, we do a questionnaire every morning, and this would be one of the questions on that. And if they answered that in the affirmative, I mean, we don't, as an employer, we can't make them quarantine, but we can let them not work, and that's what we do. And we would encourage them and make provisions for them to get a test. And at that point, basically, they're on their own until we can get some affirmation from the results of the test, and then based on the situation, we make a decision from there.
Actually, Tom, I still had 13 seconds. So can I just take your 24? Thank you. I'll let you have my 13 later. So we did have a situation here. We can't require that someone take a COVID test. And so we ran into a situation where the woman that worked here did not want to take a COVID test. And so we made her quarantine for 3 days and didn't until she had no symptoms.
Yeah, I was slow on the button. You finished.
Yeah.
Magical.
Magical. All right, we're gonna hit my questions. And Leslie, no questions. Sarah, no questions. Karen, come on, y'all.
I think they burned themselves out last Thursday.
I think you might be right. I think you might be right. All right,
so people.
What'd you say, Kurt?
I said I have that effect on people where they're like, I'm gonna wait to ask this question to someone else.
Okay, yeah, I don't believe that. Not even for the slightest second. Yeah. Okay, so the first question I found was, what are the top 3 apps or platforms that you use or recommend? Oh, and I'm first. I guess I should probably think of my answer. Let me grab my little phone here and see what I actually use.
Okie dokie. You ready?
All righty. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to say Slack and ClickUp and Made Central. Look at how fast I am.
Sorry, I didn't catch the middle one.
The what? Slack?
You said Slack and Made Central. What was the middle one?
ClickUp.
ClickUp.
It's kind of like Asana or Trello, right?
Yeah, just more intense.
As far as apps, like things on your phone, we use Voxer quite a bit as a communications tool. As a company, we live in the Office 365 world, and we use all of, or not all, but a lot of the apps inside of Office 365. I mean, obviously we use Made Central to run our house cleaning operations. Sure, I'll throw that in as number 3.
Because it does a lot of stuff. That's why I use that one. I know it sounds like really, like I'm only saying it because it does all of the other stuff, keeps from having to have all the other things.
You up, Kurt?
Okay, I'm ready. So Voxer is also at the top of my list. I wrote that down. That's something that I love it because it's good for one-to-one communication. It's good for one-to-many communication, group conversations. It's easy to blow it up if you don't use it right, but my goodness, is it an effective tool. Also, Polymail is what I use for my email. I love that I can snooze, archive, just swipe my mail. And I've been using it for years. When Mailbox, the mail app, disappeared, I switched to Polymail, and it's almost as good as Mailbox was. I still regret the day that Dropbox killed that app. And then I'll just go ahead and say Responsibid. You know, I designed an app that I thought was pretty darn good, and I still stand behind it. So it's a selling tool. For those who don't know, it's a selling tool for service companies.
Awesome.
I think there are a lot of people that would go along with you there, Kurt. I know a lot of people that use Responsibid. Quality Driven is another one that I'm like, I really wanted to be able to get in there, because that's another one that a lot of people use and a lot of people find. Nobody that uses it is like, yeah, there's not a lot of value here. That's not a thing.
Well, I had my cleaning company before QDS.
Yeah.
And I did it all by spreadsheet, and I don't know of anyone else who was paying for performance before me. I didn't learn it from anybody. I just kind of made it up on my own. We got our metrics, and we did the surveys at the end of every job and all that. And honest to goodness, when I heard about QDS, I'm like, that I would spend hours every week trying to keep that spreadsheet up to date, getting those surveys all sent out. So if only.
It's a beautiful, for those of you that are using it right now, how much are you loving the cute little icons? I love the icons that she brings out on the holidays, like the little pies and little turkeys, and they're so cute.
You know, if you just think about what amazing times we're in. I mean, we've been doing this long enough, Liz, where, you know, the internet was hardly a thing when we started, you know, in business. And, you know, automations were, you know, whatever software you were using, you were, you know, putting a floppy drive disk into a desktop PC. And thinking back on it, how do we even run businesses back then?
Y'all, when I started my business, I did not have a computer for the first year. I was like, didn't have a computer. Computers weren't really like popular back then. I was like, computer, how do you get one of those big things in your house?
State-of-the-art communication was a beeper.
It was really, like, you're joking, but it really was. Yeah. And the Yellow Pages was how you did your advertising. Yeah. All righty.
You kids don't know how lucky you got it.
Yeah.
Wow. This could be, you know, a good question. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Leslie, I know there's a lot of people out, you know, in the, you know, house cleaning, you know, space who are offering SEO services. I don't really have a personal relationship or personal experience with any of them, so I'm really not in a position to make any recommendations at all. So I guess I'll just stop wasting my time and pass it off to Kurt. Sorry.
Well, I can tell you that the SEO world is sort of noted as the charlatan space. It's the one where you're getting people who you know, call you and bug you and all that stuff, and they tend to disappear in the middle of the night once you paid them and all that stuff. So I know it's a sketchy area, but one of the things people confuse Responsibid with is a lead generation service. People think, oh, Responsibid gets me leads. Well, it doesn't. It just makes it so that whatever sales process you use can be installed on your website. Well, that means that people who use Responsibid really benefit from getting a lot of web traffic. So I have heard, and I can recommend of two people. One is John Majak from Mr. Pipeline, and the other is Zeke Domowski. They both measure their performance, and they are not flaky. They do not disappear. They do a great job.
I love that. I love that you gave real names. That's awesome, Kurt. And those are names that I haven't heard before. So Maybe you might want to give us how to spell them or something. We can put them into the links too a little bit later.
Yeah. I can put it in private chat here for you.
Yeah.
We can drop it. Sure.
That'd be great.
Yep, Liz.
Okay, so we recently just signed with a brand new company, and I have seen the work that they did locally in our area with some other companies. I don't have a lot of information, but we're using them. They're called iLocal. That's it, ILOCAL. I'll let you know. Ask me in 6 months, right? We all know how SEO works. So ask me in 3 how they're doing. The thing that I'm liking so far is that they have a report that you get every month with some key performance indicators on it, which I really love. They give you a report that tracks a bunch of different metrics, and they tell you the activities that they've done, what blog posts that they wrote, what backlinks they got, that kind of stuff. So we'll see. All right.
Wants to know who does mine. Short answer, we don't have a firm that does it. We kind of do it by committee internally, and I'm not saying that's an awesome way of doing it, but we do have a subscription to Moz, and we use that as a tool, and we can keep an eye on analytics and some of the other metrics, but we kind of do ours in-house at the moment.
I'm with you, Leslie. I just don't want to do it either. It's like not my strength, and I want to do more of what I'm good at, less of what I'm not good at. Leslie is saying something here about wanting to, she likes Responsibid. She's still trying to work on getting more accurate and presentable. Do you know what that means, Kurt? Is there a way for her to, anything you can give her?
Yeah, there's a chat feature inside of Responsible. You can reach out and get on David's calendar if there's something that's like technically difficult. And actually, I'm going to even go a little bit further. If you're just having a hard time getting the time to do something, because that's the two things. Sometimes it's, I don't know how to do what I'm trying to do. And the other one is, I haven't had time to carve out the time to do it. Well, the answer to both kind of is the same thing. Just go into the chat feature, set up a time to work with David for an hour, and that will force you to set aside 1 hour of time, and they'll screen share with you, and we'll get it done. The thing is that in most situations, it's less usually about how to do it. It's more about, I need to sit down and just tweak it a little bit here or there, or change my follow-up emails. And but either way, if you don't know how to do something, we're happy to show you. And if you just need time for someone to like kind of hold you accountable to get it done, and don't want to do a business coach, just chat with us, and we'll take time to do it with you.
Okay, awesome. Sounds good. Thanks.
Responsibid loves Marlo.
Mutual.
Responsibid, yeah.
The feeling is mutual. Yeah.
All right, you guys throw your questions in. Do you charge for that? Leslie wants to know, Kurt.
No. That's just something we do.
Part of the service. There. Customer service supreme there. All right, I have a couple more questions here. The next question is, can you just tell us about your annual planning? How you do your annual planning?
Oh. Am I up?
I'm just keeping notes. Was I last time?
Yeah, Kurt, you're up this time. I went first last time.
Okay. So my annual planning usually means that I go in, and the last week of December, I start getting all of my numbers put together for the year. I compile all the numbers. I try to view the trends. I build a bunch of slides. And then the first week of January, our whole team flies into Phoenix, and we meet at my house, and my wife cooks a bunch of food. We get in front of the whiteboard, and we spend a whole week just trying to understand what happened last year and what we would consider a win for this year. When we do that, we make a plan for the year. We find that usually by 6 months, that plan has completely fallen apart, and it's time to do it again. We do a virtual version of that. But we call it hackathon. And the idea is that a lot of people within the company could benefit from other people knowing what they struggle with. So we let the numbers talk, we let the people talk, and we let the people's interactions with each other become more defined about how they can get help from someone else within the company. I want to bank those 2 seconds.
Very good. I was
They
awesome.
are faint.
Yep.
Okay, so this, so I always start annual planning in November because it takes me a long time. This year I'm doing something just a little bit different than I've done in the past. I'm kind of excited about. I always put things in writing because just the act of writing makes things more real for me. So this year I have a huge calendar that is 96 inches long, 36 inches deep. It's January through December, and each space fits a Post-it note. And so I'm blocking out for each month, the major plan is a month, and then by the week what we're doing, and then as we come into each month, I will set the daily plan and the weekly plan on my little Post-its on my calendar. We'll see how that works. I'll let you know in June.
Very good.
Right on the mark. I guess there's several parts to this. Some parts were more religious and consistent about than others. Pretty much every year around November, we go through a process where we assess performance year to date, start thinking about what those numbers could be next year. And part of it is we get together with our CPA, and it's kind of a tax planning exercise to figure out what we need to be doing between now and the end of the year to kind of take the edge off of whatever taxes we're going to have to pay for this year. We've done different things over the years. A couple of years ago, we had an offsite meeting. I guess it was in Dallas that we flew people in. I guess it was kind of the back end of convention. Last year, we were making a lot of changes organizationally, and we just kind of hacked through it. And this year, we're dealing with COVID and don't really even have a plan for doing our plan this year. But we need to get one.
Yeah. All right. You guys aren't coming up with questions. Good thing I have 2 more and then we're going to be done. So Kurt, might be an early end for you. You don't have to stay on here the whole time because it looks like you have
sounds horrible. An early end. Well, don't just for the show.
Yeah, for the show. Okay. This question is, who are your mentors? Who are the people that you listen to, that you pay attention to, that you talk to? Oh, I'm first. Dang it.
Yeah.
Dang it.
You should be thinking about this a little bit.
I know, but I went and searched them out. All right.
I'm taking my time getting this up here.
You're so kind, Tom.
I'm moving the mouse over to the clock. Here it is. I'm getting ready to start. Is now a good time, Liz?
Yeah, I think I'm okay. All right. So I have a business coach locally that I meet with every other week. So I would say he was definitely one of my mentors. My mastermind accountability group, even though I run that group, I really rely on that group as, and there are 2 groups actually, but the success group especially, I really rely on those people as my mentors because they have such great advice. Also, believe it or not, a lot of times the people on the show, we bring people on the show because these are people I look up to and I listen to what they have to say. And I pretty much every day I take something away and I'm like, okay, this is a golden nugget right here. I'm not going to let go. I also have some people that are mentors that I've never met. So Darren Hardy, I love Darren Daly. Some people in books that you guys have heard me talk about before, and Tom.
Glad we had a second left there.
That's right.
Oh, that's fun. That was really fun.
Okay. So I'm up. You know, there's so many. I mean, the typical ones that we all know about that write books and so on and so forth. You know, Some of them aren't even around anymore, like Stephen Covey types. I love reading books, love reading business books. In terms of human beings that you might not know, there is a Vistage chair in my area. His name's Dan Wartenberg, and he is an amazing dude. Worked with him for years. I've taken a sabbatical. I've had some discussions with him recently, and I think that's just having a sounding board, to bounce ideas off of, especially somebody who's got an outside perspective. I learn a lot from people inside of the industry, but I love reaching out to people outside of the industry as well, because people outside of the industry sometimes can see things from a perspective differently than what we can from inside our own world. Kurt?
All right. So there's a story I often tell when I'm giving like presentations, and I talk about the CEO and one of the co-founders of it was Infusionsoft, now it's Keep, but Clayton Mask. He was very instrumental in that. Actually, Scott Martineau, who was the other founder, I'm closer personally with him, but Clayton Mask and I have kind of a interesting background, and basically got me to see my business as a completely different thing. I have some other close friends, Rob Phelps from the nursing industry. He's become a dear friend and mentor. I wrote down Dale Carnegie because, how to win friends and influence people. That was a huge like thing for me walking down the road. But in terms of people in the industry that people here might know, Mike Dahlke has become quite a nice mentor for me.
Mike is a pretty amazing
awesome
dude.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Leslie, got us some questions.
Okay. I guess I'm up first.
Okay.
As a rule, we do like a breakfast for Thanksgiving and have a party for Christmas. The Thanksgiving breakfast isn't happening this year. I mean, we do, I guess, traditionally buy gifts and stuff for Thanksgiving. We're doing, typically turkeys. Been doing that for years in Charleston. Christmas, we do, gifts. There's some modest bonuses that we do based on, years of service with the company and so forth. That's kind of our drill. Kurt?
So we're a completely remote company, and I wish I could say we did more cool stuff. I actually, hackathon is when I just kind of get it all out of my system there in January. But I do want to talk a little bit about bonuses, because for the longest time, all I could do was like a $500 bonus. And as my company grew, I'd start stressing out, like, am I taking money from something I shouldn't be? The biggest thing I ever did was have set in my budget what I wanted to have for the payday of Thanksgiving as a Christmas bonus. And then just every month take out, 1/11 of that. And it makes it so easy to pay bonuses. And now my bonuses are phenomenal. Like, I'm proud to give these bonuses because I know they're significant. And so basically just budgeting for it all year long makes it so that when it is time to pay it, it's not a stress one bit. And it's changed my whole world. So hopefully that helps.
That is cool.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay, let's see. For Thanksgiving, we normally just give everybody pies and whipped cream. I usually whip up a big, huge vat of whipped cream and give everybody a big container of whipped cream and pies. They like it that I make them something. I also give everybody a handwritten thank you card for Thanksgiving, and believe it or not, they remember that every single year. They mention them. They ask me if I'm going to write those cards. Am I going to be giving those out again? It's a card. Yeah, I'll be doing that, y'all. It's about as easy as it gets, right? Doesn't get much cheaper. And then for Christmas, this year, we're going to do something a little bit different. I still wanted to kind of have a party. So I have a center, and we're going to do a rolling Christmas party. So no more than 7 people or 8 people in the thing at a time. You have to sign up. You get to stay for 45 minutes, and You'll roll through for 5 hours.
And a third of a second left.
It's done in time, Tom. That's all I'm saying right there.
Okay. I don't know how often you catch smart business moves. I imagine you're probably doing it on a regular basis, Kurt. So maybe not quite as often as Liz and myself.
It really comes down to all my time that I spend on Facebook. I divide it very evenly. And 0 divided into anything, unfortunately, gives me very few smart business move opportunities.
0 divided into something gives you
That's
infinity.
very good.
That's
That was very good.
That gives you infinity, doesn't it?
I think that's a divide
Or
by
not.
0 situation.
Yeah.
But the problem is, since I'm not on Facebook, it puts me in a precarious position to learn from smart business moves.
We're on YouTube as well.
Oh, well, I guess I could do that. I have a YouTube account. I could tap in.
Liz, do you want to speak to this, Liz?
Sure. I think this is coming from what I said. I'm always getting small nuggets everywhere. So one of the things that was super helpful for me was when COVID first happened, just getting like some direction on how to manage it, how to talk to the employees, what things to say, and to talk to them every single day. Also, I got a lot of instruction in what to write to our clients and send out there. That was super helpful in the beginning. Also, how to manage the PPP loans and EIDL, and making the decision about EIDL and PPP. That was super helpful in this group. I signed up for Carrie's program. I signed up for Rescue My Maid Service program. I signed up for Megan's program. I was starting with Responsibid, but then we ended up doing something else we had to do. So pretty much if it's been on here, I've signed up for it.
I don't know if I've got any like really mind-blowing awesome nuggets, but I learn a lot, every day that we do this. And I find myself, the days after talking about something, it's like, well, we had a guest on Smart Business Moves, and I start recounting, what we learned. Like recently as yesterday when Don Finn was on, he just kind of in passing made the comment that 40% of the legislation that you see in the HR world is involved in some type of retirement plan, 401ks not being managed right. And that resonated with me because we are in the process of looking at doing something different from a retirement plan standpoint. We're looking at several different options, and now we're digging in a little deeper to make sure that we're doing it in a way to not expose ourselves to litigation from plaintiff's attorneys like Don used to be.
And I have one more thing to say, if I could, Tom. I know I banked 4 seconds multiple times.
Well, I've got 1 second here. You ready?
And I want my 4.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. And just a quick example, Leslie, is also like Kurt was saying about how he does his bonuses. I don't do bonuses, but I will absolutely be taking his idea and doing that for all of our holiday expenses. That's a great idea, Kurt. Thank you for that. Coming out monthly, 11 months. It's going to make it so easy.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah,
really
so
does.
easy.
Hey.
All right, I have one more question. Do we have time? If we go fast, 1 minute, we got 4 minutes here.
Yeah,
ready?
we can do it. Go ahead.
Okay, what are your wins from 2020? We keep hearing about how bad it was, but what were your wins?
Who's up?
I don't remember. Tom's up. I think I went last.
Kurt, since you passed on the last one, you can go first.
Okay.
Me? Okay.
Kurt.
Okay.
So I've had a few wins. The first is that I have seen my own personal business grow 40%. We're at 39.8% so far for the year. So business grew. Happy about that. Another huge win is that my kids weren't in school so much, and I got to spend way more time with my kids especially as we're building the house. We spend a lot of time working side by side, and I will treasure that forever. But the biggest win of all, the biggest win of 2020 for me was that my daughter had her senior year and graduated 2020, and I was her date. We asked each other to prom, and we did our own little daddy-daughter prom, and I will treasure that night for the rest of my life. I honestly, I'm really happy how well I'm holding it together. It was the greatest. So thank you, 2020.
That's awesome, Kurt. I love that.
I'm getting a little
Misty, me too. Me too. That was awesome.
Go, Liz.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to hit a few different areas. So for business, this gave me the opportunity to do something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and that is to incorporate solos into my business model. So now we're running more solos in teams of 2, which is super nice, something I wanted to do, and this sort of helped, right? COVID helped me there. On a personal level, also helped me to manage my diet. I wasn't so like, I kind of got de-stressed a little bit doing this program and everything. And so I was able to manage my diet and get more focused on that. Or not focused, more even, which has been really nice for me instead of the up and down thing. And then third thing is Tim and I did a couples retreat that was really super helpful for us personally and making us have a lot more fun.
Cool. That's cool.
Well, from a business standpoint, we've learned how to do some things a little bit differently in the COVID-19 world, and some of those things are going to continue on. I spend a lot less time in the office than I used to, and I think I'm more productive. I think the people in my office think they're more productive, so we're all happy with that. I think smart business moves, I'm going to throw that in there because this has been fun. And this is something that we started back, when we just didn't know which way to turn with COVID. And this has turned into something, I don't know what it's going to become, but I think Liz and I are committed to doing this. We took it as an opportunity to basically stand up a learning management system, develop a couple of programs on that we felt good about, and partnering with ARCSI and kind of turned that over to them, and they're running it now. On a personal side, we got a dog, Molly, that's growing up, and that's real cool too.
Yeah, Molly is real cool. I'll give you that. All right. Well, we are top of the hour. We made it happen, but this might be our last on the spot.
Yeah, this wasn't as awesome as last week. I guess just putting it out there. No fault of you,
Nothing
Kurt.
with you, Kurt.
Is it because it's just the greatest note to end on, or is like we cannot do anymore after this guy?
This is how they always say you want to go out on a high. We're going out with Kurt Kempton.
Yeah,
we're going out with Kurt Kempton.
Yeah, and you can put this on your resume that you were like on the spot with smart business moves.
Immortalized. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
I'll be looking at your LinkedIn profile tomorrow to make sure that's there.
Leslie, oh hush. No, Leslie, not kidding. So expect something new next week. So we don't have a secret guest, but we have a secret offering.
Secret.
Yeah, for next Thursday.
As always, Kurt, you rock. We appreciate you being on the show and look forward to having you again.
Oh, and especially Kurt, I didn't even realize that you don't really do Facebook. So I know people that don't do Facebook, it's not really fun to do Facebook. So really double thanks for getting on here and doing this.
Yeah, sorry we're inflicting this.
As long as I will say, when I left Facebook and my life improved by 800%, I think that the biggest thing was, I'm assuming that the politics on Facebook has got to be out of control. And also people that I really respect. Oh, no one's going crazy on politics?
I don't go like through my thread. Maybe they are on there. I just come here to work.
The other thing I found is that people I really respected in person would always be getting into it and trying to argue and fight with other people. And I found I just like dealing with people in real life much better than I like dealing with people on social. So Those are the only two reasons I'm not on it.
I
Well,
get that.
really appreciate you coming on for us because
Sure.
it's really good for us.
You're
And I think
awesome.
it's important to recognize that Kurt's going to be one of the premier speakers for the ARCSI ISSA convention coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. 2 weeks.
Just
Oh my
right
God.
around
it's
the
over.
corner.
So if you haven't signed up for that, you need to do it. And if you don't use Responsibid, you need to at least go to their website. I'm dropping that in the chat as well.
If you don't currently have a way to bid your jobs online, you can't afford not to. You need to go and do that. You really can't afford not to, especially not in these days. And then also don't forget about Responsicon because 10 seats right now.
Yeah. I imagine we'll probably
get out to the house, in which case you got plenty of room.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Kurt?
I imagine that there'll probably be at least 10 tickets relinquished to people who are not going to be super happy about the whole wear a mask when you're not in a room situation. But
yeah.
Anyway, we do have some.
I do know Debbie's last live event, she had masks too. And I'm pretty sure that was Derek that was telling me that. Might have been somebody else, but it sounded like everything went great. Great event.
Okay.
So I would say don't worry.
That we can still have, it's kind of usually like a hugging place and a back patting place and a handshaking place. So I'm hoping that with all these new restrictions that we can still have a place that's true to what it is.
You need to get those long handled hands and people can still shake hands. You got to do that, Kurt.
Oh, God.
Okay.
You got to do that.
Chris Schwab's going to be with us Monday, 5 o'clock Eastern. You're going to want to catch that again,
Yeah.
Kurt.
And that's a presentation, y'all. So be there for the presentation. Show up on time. We'll be on
Bring your
time.
popcorn and something to take notes with.
Yeah.
Kurt.
Thanks again, Kurt.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Talk to you later.